keyboard when it's plugged in and it's not plugged in.
You know something?
What happened there?
I was doing Jerry Lee Lewis, right?
Christine pulled the plug, did she?
Christine pulled the plug and wrapped it around my leg, and I just couldn't get it off back working again.
Christine, she's the publicist for our next game, for our next guest, and she came in and she pulled the plug.
Wrapped it around my
Screwed
leg.
the whole show up.
Man,
To think that
Christine.
our families have been friends for 7 decades. Oh well, everyone's had family friendship.
Yeah, they are.
Yes, we are on the air. Of course we're on the air. This is, what do you expect, a professional broadcast? My next guest is not a psychic. And I want to point that out because when I first received an invitation to interview her on my program, the aforementioned Christine, she said, Ted, I don't normally deal in this type of area. And I said, Christine, nor do I. Not that I have anything against psychics, but I don't know that that reaches a lot of people other than the person who's on the line and telling them that they're born August the 5th, 1921 or whatever. So, but she is not. However, she has this ability to communicate with loved ones who have passed away. Now, I know many of you are shaking your head and going, yeah, right. But I'll tell you something. Can I say this, what you wrote to me?
Yes, sir.
That Christine first spoke to her, Sherry Gallant, her name. She said, Ted, and Christine had lost some family members in the last year or so. She said some things to me that there's no way that she could have possibly known, and I couldn't believe it. So she said, do you want to have her come on? And I said, well, I looked at the bio, and it's quite fascinating to begin with. Then I said, sure. And she said, well, why don't we have her have a chat with you? And I said, I'll do that, but I'm not going to do it on the air, because I don't really want to open myself up that much on the air. So we sat in the boardroom about 20 minutes before the show, and we started talking, and you started bringing forward names of people that you wouldn't have not have known.
Yes.
My father, my mother, you even got a name of a dog right, and the color, just so many different things. And I'm sitting there going, okay, so at first I have to be honest with you, Sherry, at first I'm thinking, okay, a lot of this, you can kind of be, you can guess. You look at my age and you figure, okay, the odds are at least one, if not both of his parents are no longer here.
Absolutely.
And both of my parents have passed on. And then I said, okay, see, you can figure that one out. But to guess a letter and say, okay, well, I see the letter L. Now there's, I don't know how many letters in the alphabet, 28, 26, whatever, can't count. You could have said P, which wouldn't have made any sense. You could have said B, C, R, F, L. You said L, and that was my mother's first name, Luba. And I'm thinking, okay, so this is kind of coincidental. But there was more coincidental than there should have been.
Right.
And I guess there's probably a way in which you can figure out how to, once you see a pattern, because you asked me to don't say anything other than yes, no, or I'm not sure, which I did, until we finished, and then I explained to you who all these people were.
Exactly. I call it my dictionary. They show me, they use everything I've ever done in life, and everybody that are in my life, they use those as my dictionary. With the letter L, I'll have to tell you, I kept seeing a Mr. Lube franchise, where you go get an oil change. And I was saying to myself, this time, sometimes I can kick myself in my butt for not coming out with it, but it's like, I saw Mr. Lube, but I let it go, because I'm like, why are they showing me an oil change place? At the end, you tell me your mom's name was Luba.
Yeah.
And it was an L. So they want, because it's not for me to understand, it's for you to understand. So if I would have came out and said to you, is there something to do with a Mr. Lube? You would have went, my mother's name is Luba, but I didn't know that until after the fact.
But you didn't mention Mr. Lube, you just
No, I
said
didn't,
L.
and it was the L, because listen, this freaks me out as much as it freaks everybody else out. Like, I'm just human. Where it comes from is just, it's there. It's like the thoughts are just there. all of a sudden we just get a connection, and it was just like with your producer, there's something there. I feel that there's a connection, and I've given him some stuff, and I don't know, he'll take it with him and maybe think on it, but it's just there.
Are there ever times when you talk to somebody and you just like nothing works? You're like totally off base? You're asking about people
yeah, but
who
you know
died
what?
and nobody's died, and things like that?
Yeah, I actually had one woman.
Because nobody can be bang on every day.
No, I had one lady come with me, and people come for different reasons. There was nothing coming through for this lady. And then near the end, it was all over with, and all of a sudden I saw that spice saffron. And I go, honestly, I don't know where this is coming from, but all I see is a spice saffron. She broke down crying because her cat, Saffron, she actually came for a reading for her cat. I'm not gonna get really much out of it. But she was so happy with that. So, it's not everybody. You have to be open. I believe that whoever's meant to come through, and if there's a message, are gonna come through. At my shows, when there's 400 or 500 people sitting there, and whoever is meant to come through is gonna come through. Whoever's meant to get the message, because everything comes with a message.
Mhm.
I know you got a personal message.
I'm a skeptic, and
Yeah.
probably more so than a lot of people. But by the same token, I won't disavow anything as being wrong unless somebody can tell me it's wrong.
Right.
Like, nobody has convinced me that there are UFOs, but no one has convinced me that there aren't.
Right. Hey, listen, my
You know,
husband feels exactly the same. He is with me.
People have told me that they've spoken to family members in their dreams, and I can't tell them that they're full of it.
Dream visits, they're very common.
Yeah.
Very common.
So there's a lot of things that I'm not sure about, so I can't say that's not true, which is one of the reasons why I said, okay, well, let's bring Sherry on.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure exactly how you managed to put all this together.
It's not me though, it's not coming from me.
Okay. When did this all first begin with you?
You know what, I believe it's been there my whole life, but I had a tragic car accident in 2002. And for weeks I had felt very uncomfortable driving. And I ended up getting into a car accident, and when it was all said and done over with, I ended up at a graveyard. I was at a graveyard, my car, literally at a graveyard. When I looked, and it felt like somebody had taken me out of my car and put me back in when it was all over with. I looked outside of my car, and 10, 12 feet from my car was a grave site of a very close friend of mine who had passed away, who I named my son after. And it just felt, from that day forward, it was like things just really started to come. And now I kept it quiet. I kept it quiet from my family. I kept it quiet from my husband, my son, because they think I'm a weirdo magnet. They just, they're like, Mom, you're just weird. And I'm like, okay, you know what, I'll take it, whatever. But you know what, I thought I was going to yoga, I was going to meditation. I tried to find like-minded people, because, it's just not something. I go to my family doctor and tell him I talk to dead people. He's gonna write me a prescription, that's for sure. So, but now, there's so much out there, and you see stuff on TV, and I've come forward because, you know what, I'm who I am. You're either gonna like me or not. And if the emails I get from people that give them so much peace and comfort, that's what matters to me. I get hate mail, I get nasty comments, but you know what, it doesn't matter what you do for a living, there's gonna be haters. So.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, we have a machine here, this little TV screen. We get texts from people. You should see some of them that come through.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So you know what, who are we?
Quite
When it comes to
frightening, actually.
skeptics, listen, I'm not here to convince you, I'm not here to convince anybody.
No.
You know what, come check out my show at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre on March 3rd, and we'll see, but you know what, I'm not here to convince. You have to be open. I find a lot of people, it's fear.
How do you do a show when it's something so personal? Like, how do you, I mean, you spoke to me in the boardroom, but it was just the two of us.
Well, people come.
How do you speak to like 2,000 people?
Well, people come, and you know what, that's what they're coming. They're coming hoping. I have been to our, like, I'm a pretty humble person. I would never center somebody out. I would never embarrass somebody. If somebody comes through in the audience and somebody looks at me and they've got that look of fright on their face, I'm just gonna give them a nice message and I'm gonna move on. It actually happened at the last show, and I received a very nice email from the lady the next day. And she actually thanked me for not sending her out and bringing up the tragic passing of her son. So it's, you know, you have to have integrity and respect for people. I am never gonna say something to somebody that I would never want somebody to say to me. It's just the way it is. You have to have, I wish I could fix them all. I do. I wish I could fix them all.
You can get ticket information by going to your website, I take it?
Yeah, actually you can go to livenation.com or you can go to ticketmaster.ca.
And what is your website?
And my website is www.sherrygallant.com.
That's 2 L's, by the way.
Yes, 2 L's.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
It's been quite fascinating.
Yes,
All
thank
the best to
you.
you. Christina, stay away from the electrical. 2:15 in Toronto. News Talk 1010 time saver traffic. 102 westbound.